Dave Lorenz and Michelle Grinnell along with you here on Travel Michigan. Nice to have you along with us here today. And an interesting segment coming up next right here on Travel Michigan. We're going to actually talk about the possibility and the hope of having a reality TV show produced right here in Michigan. Let me introduce you to Skip Starr. He is executive producer from Red and White Entertainment. How appropriately named, by the way, Skip, since you're putting together a show all about wine. Welcome to the program.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
So this show is called The Wine Warriors, and I'm sure our listeners have heard or read something about Wine Warriors recently. Seems like you've gotten out to the media quite a bit. And the funny thing is, you're not even on the air or on a cable network yet.
That's right. That's right. We're building the buzz, no pun intended, and we've been covered in a lot of the media. Of course, the local media in Traverse City, as well as the news downstate, and there's a lot of interest around what we're trying to do.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because with all these reality shows on TV, I told some of your colleagues the other day that this would be my first reality show I've ever watched, because I purposefully tried not to watch reality shows. I think they're mostly anything but. But let's talk about your concept of the Wine Warriors being produced up in Traverse City.
Well, yeah, it is a reality show, and when we lead with that, sometimes we get the frowns right away. But we quickly explain that in the genre of reality shows, this is very unique. This is completely different than what a lot of folks may think. What this show does, it looks at owning a vineyard, both from the lifestyle point of view and the business side of the business of owning a vineyard. And it gets into the daily challenges. It really gives the viewers a sneak peek behind the scenes where they will never see on any wine tour or any other way. It gets into the challenges that go into growing the grapes, farming the fruit, as they say, making the wine, bottling it, and ultimately selling it. And they fight weather. They have to deal with the challenges of equipment and mechanical problems and breakdowns, staff issues. It is incredibly interesting. But what it is not that swirling, sipping, tasting show that we're all used to.
Yeah, on the Food Channel or whatever. The funny thing about this is that we've joked around in our office about, in our office is so wacky, we could be on a reality show. But I think that's everybody's life, isn't it? That anybody who has interesting people around, it seems like every day you should be on TV because you've got such, funny things happening and strange things happening.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because with any of these reality shows, but especially with Wine Warriors, while the show is serious, but it is very funny at the same time, and that's all because of the cast.
Yeah, I agree.
The cast carries the show. And it is it's a mix, and this is why we selected the wineries we did. We did a lot of research. We started this last summer, and to get down to this 8-minute sizzle reel or trailer, there's about 9 hours of filming that went into this. But after we selected the 3 wineries that we did, and that is Chateau Chantal on Old Mission, Chateau de Leelanau on Leelanau Peninsula, and then Good Harbor, also over on Leelanau. That really was a juxtaposition, really, of the different kinds of wineries there are. They're larger wineries, like Chateau Chantal, that has a 11-room bed and breakfast, whereas you've got then Matt Gregory over at Chateau de Leelanau, who's really an independent. He's on his own doing his thing. And then you've got Good Harbor, which is Sam and Taylor Simpson and their mom, Debbie, who have an interesting story as well.
Well, and all of them are really different, too, just the way they operate.
Well, it is, and that played a large part in why we selected the wineries that we did, because we wanted to have not only a different size or business model, but we wanted to have an interesting backstory to each of these wineries as well. And then, of course, we've got Larry Mawby from El Mawby Vineyards, and Larry is known far and wide, not just in Michigan or even in the Midwest, but throughout the wine industry. And we fell in love with Larry's wit, his sense of humor, his very dry sense of humor, and we bring Larry in for some offbeat, very deadpan editorial comments when you least expect it throughout the show.
I would expect that from Larry. I've been to that winery many times as well.
Well, then you know Larry, right?
Yeah, and he's a funny, interesting guy. He drives his little electric car around. He has the windmill on property, and it's fun. And he, of course, has this great sparkling wine, which is pretty unique. Yeah. So
that's just it too. But we're trying to feature not only these wineries, but we think this hopefully will do a lot for the region of northern Michigan and our wine region up there as well.
So where are you when it comes to getting the show placed? Are you out there kind of pitching it to the industry, as we say?
Absolutely. We've got an agent who represents us, TVS, who is a well-respected agent, and they're out of Florida, and they're well-known throughout the cable community, the cable network community. They've featured us in some of the national and even international trade shows, our show. They've taken our show over to France last month at a pre-con event that they showed our trailer, and then they also had it the end of January down at a national trade show in Florida.
Well, of course.
So
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, we're being heavily pitched out there, and we're excited. We've gotten a lot of positive response, but our agent wants us to kind of keep that on the down low until something is more solid.
Yeah, well, we wish you the best of luck. But in the interim, the interesting thing is, as people go to visit these wineries this coming spring and summer, don't be surprised if you see a film crew there with these interesting folks and fun places to visit. And you actually can get some of your Wine Warrior product at some of the wineries as well, right?
Absolutely. We're having a little fun with it while the show is being pitched. We're having some fun with just building the Wine Warrior brand. So everything from the usual swag of T-shirts and hats and wine kits, but some more interesting things too. We've actually created a private label, a Wine Warriors brand of wine, and that is only offered exclusively at each of our 4 wineries that are associated with the show. And so that's on sale, and they're having fun with that. And also, we've got a Tour the Experience Wine Warriors winery tour with Celtic Shuttles. CelticShuttles.com will give you all the information about that, and that is a very unique wine tour that we've put together. Again, all branded around Wine Warriors and the 4 wineries that are part of the show. So, we're going to be doing a lot of filming as we have these events, and we've got an event coming up on May 24th right down here at E.G. Nick's in Plymouth as well, where the cast is going to be down pouring their wines and having a fun time.
Well, the cool thing is that you can learn about all these things, the products that are available now. You can see that sizzler reel and everything else simply by going to the website, which is winewarriors.com, and you can find them on Facebook as well. Skip, thanks for joining us today. Skip Starr, executive producer of Red and White Entertainment, and trying to put that Wine Warriors program on your TV. Let's wish them the very best of luck. Hey, speaking of websites like winewarriors.com, you can't forget about Michigan.org. We have all that great information about traveling all throughout the state of Michigan. And now that we've totally transitioned into the warmer season, let's say, spring is here, you might as well get out there and enjoy it. And there are so many great events happening all throughout the state. One of the things I do virtually every week I go to Michigan.org. I go to that events section, and I simply just kind of look around and see what's out there for the coming weekend. We're always looking for things to do, and we're not really very particular on where we go most of the time, so quite often we'll just keep it on that All Cities tab and just look at the events for the weekend. Sometime we might be looking for a specific city, so we just pop that in there and put the correct dates in, and before you know it, we get this whole lineup of events with descriptions and sometimes images telling us about what's out there. So recommend you check that out today at Michigan.org. Speaking of events, we have a great one coming up to Mackinac Island very soon. It's called the Lilac Festival, and you will want to be there if you can. So we'll tell you all about it next, right here on Travel Michigan, where your trip begins at Michigan.org.